Bridgerton Season 4 Part 1 Review. Netflix's steamy Regency series raises the bar with a Cinderella romance. I'll admit that I didn't originally have high expectations for the return of Bridgerton this year, even though I found things to love about all 3 seasons that have aired to date. From irresistible tropes to standout performances, Nicola Coughlan is the heart and soul of this franchise, and I won't hear any argument to the contrary. If anything, my doubt didn't lie with the show itself, but with the believability that its latest romantic hero could measure up to what preceded him. While Luke Thompson's Benedict Bridgerton is technically the second son of the titular family, he's the 4th member to earn their own love story, on the heels of his siblings Daphne, Phoebe Dynevor, Anthony, Jonathan Bailey, and Colin, Luke Newton. However, as any longtime Regency romance reader will tell you, second sons have a well-earned reputation for steering clear of deeper commitment, and Benedict, up until this point, has displayed no indication of wanting to properly settle down. The show itself has hardly had the opportunity to build Thompson up as a leading man either, especially while needing to devote attention to other romances. The success of Season 4 would rest not only on his shoulders, but also on whoever was cast to completely upend Benedict's world. Thankfully, Bridgerton's latest return brings with it a breath of fresh air in newcomer Yaren Ha, whose character, Sophie Beck, allows the story to expand its scope beyond the wealthiest members of the ton. While Season 4, adapted from author Julia Quinn's novel An Offer from a Gentleman, certainly draws inspiration from the classic Cinderella fairy tale, the upstairs-downstairs love story that gradually unfolds between its 2 leads turns Bridgerton into an even better version of itself. As previously mentioned, Benedict Bridgerton, Thompson, has no intention of settling down anytime soon, having favored a more non-conforming lifestyle over the show's past 3 seasons. Though despite his previous affairs, he visibly balks at the idea of being thought of as a rake, aka a Regency-era bad boy. However, his mother, Violet, Ruth Gemmell, has never been the type to let any of her children deter her from a potential matchmaking opportunity, and the Bridgerton's upcoming masquerade ball provides the perfect atmosphere for her oldest unmarried son to find a potential bride. Benedict rolls in late with a poor excuse for a costume, expecting another unmemorable night before he encounters a mysterious woman in silver. Their time together is admittedly brief, but she leaves a lasting impression on him, as well as one of her gloves, once she flees their private interlude at the stroke of midnight. With nothing more than the details of their conversation to go on, Benedict finds himself obsessing over this beautiful stranger, determined to unmask her once and for all. But tracking her down within the ton might actually be impossible, because she isn't a high-ranking member of society. Benedict's woman in silver is actually Sophie Beck, a maid who'd only snuck into the Bridgerton's masquerade to enjoy how the other half lives for a night. By the next morning, she's reverted to doing household chores and tending to the every need of her stepmother, Lady Araminta Gunn, Katie Long, as well as her stepsisters, Rosamund, Michelle Mao, and Posey, Isabella Way. For Sophie, her encounter with a handsome, well-dressed gentleman was a bold transgression that she'll never be able to repeat, especially since her stepmother is already looking for any excuse to kick her out of the house. The other close and extended members of the Bridgerton family have their own unique problems to deal with. On the heels of publicly revealing herself as Lady Whistledown, Penelope Coughlan is admittedly very content in her marriage to Colin Newton, but struggles to balance her commitments to her family with Queen Charlotte's, Golda Rocheval, personal demand for gossip. Eloise Bridgerton, Claudia Jessie, is the next sibling of marrying age, but her distaste for the social season leads her to clash with her younger sister, Hyacinth, Florence Hunt, whose aspirations of making her debut are actually genuine. Francesca, Hannah Dodd, seems happy with her new husband, John Sterling, Victor Ally, but secretly struggles to achieve a certain pinnacle during their more intimate moments. Bridgerton family matriarch Violet has been experiencing feelings for a potential new suitor in Lady Danbury's, Adjoa Ando, brother, Marcus, Daniel Francis, and wrestles with whether to finally indulge in a romance of her very own. It's not inaccurate to dub Bridgerton comfort food viewing, especially when taking the setting into account. Not only is historical romance, by its very nature, rooted in a fantasy construct removed from most of the era's harsher realities, but there is something incredibly appealing about being immersed in a world that bears very little resemblance to our own at the moment. However, amid the backdrop of fancy balls, elegant period clothing, and vitamin string quartet covers of contemporary songs, of which there are still plenty, Bridgerton has largely overlooked most of the background characters whose efforts make the social season possible. That all changes with Season 4, when the servants finally earn an increased focus, with some even stepping into the foreground